Very good afternoon, and thanks for clicking on to the Wednesday edition of Vogan's European Outlook. A big, massive shout out to my grandmother, Violet Vogan, who has reached the grand old age of 90. She was born back in 1933 on the 16th of August, so a very, very special day to my gran, and I would like to send my love and well wishes to you for your birthday. Unfortunately, I've not been able to be in Northern Ireland for the big day itself. But my dad, myself, and my wife Lindsay got the chance to see her back at the weekend. We had a lovely day trip up to Portrush on the Antrim coast, and unfortunately, it's back to the grind for myself. But happy birthday, Gran, and hope you're enjoying your day. So, of course, we do have a flirt with some fairly warm conditions building over the next couple of days, and it does kind of trim back over the weekend. Lo and behold, I think it's the sixth weekend in a row where we've had pretty much low pressure dominating the scene, as that energy associated with a newly formed area of low pressure at the base of the trough, main area of low pressure to the north, quite a large circulation. It's not going to progress across the UK, all thanks to high pressure blocking over Scandinavia and the near continent. It's kind of deflecting these areas of low pressure. But there's a new one that develops, moves across the UK, and we are going to see some fairly heavy, possible torrential rainfall. Flash flood threat is there. Gusty winds also associated with this system. It looks as if this low may cross from the south to the north side of the jet stream, and that is the colder, deepening side of the jet. But you can see here current temperatures as of 5:15 in the evening. Very, very warm conditions across most of the continent. As you can see here, a little bit fresher across northern UK, Ireland, Northern Ireland, and Scandinavia. As you can see here, looking at the current UK temperatures, and it's looking like this here. So we're kind of mid to upper teens across the north, low to mid 20s across the south, and we've got kind of upper teens to low 20s between north east Northern Ireland and the southwest Republic of Ireland. So up and coming up to the weekend, we've got this is off the ECMWF. I'll get there. ECMWF, as highlighted for quite a few days now. The pattern is kind of slowly starting to ease off. Low pressure at the start of the week, bringing heavy rain. Lo and behold, surprise, surprise, that is now out of the way over Scandinavia, bringing unsettled conditions here. We've got a kind of fairly warm affair across the majority of mainland Europe here, mostly high pressure and control, but we do have thunderstorm activity across several parts of mainland Europe. But a large area is seeing sunshine and hot conditions, as you can see here. What we have got is that area of low pressure that will deepen over the North Atlantic. High pressure is kind of settling down the instability within the atmosphere over the UK and Ireland, hence why we're seeing more sunshine, less in the way of widespread shower activity, but things will gradually start to decrease in terms of conditions as we push towards the period. So you can see here we've got plenty of shower activity across particularly northern areas of the UK as per the ECMWF for the course of today here. It's always kind of calms down during the late evening overnight period. We'll lose the dynamics, we'll lose the sunshine. Once that sun comes back up with a little bit of fresher in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, you get the daytime heating at the surface. It's kind of like a pot over a stove. You start getting the atmosphere to lift, rise, cool, condense, bring shower activity. But notice here all the while, as we press from the middle to second half of this work week, there's that area of low pressure continues to deepen here, but that main area of low pressure is not going to move across the UK. What will happen is we've got another kind of system developing to the southwest of the main low. We've also got a system out ahead of it, clipping close to the northwest coast of Iberia here. All the while, we've got still kind of sunshine shower regime, kind of starting to pick up a little bit more of a kind of southeasterly component to that wind, and we're kind of drawing some of that heat northwards. But as we're drawing the heat, we're also increasing the level of humidity, and as that feature then develops and then kind of edges closer to the south and southwest of both the UK and Ireland, we're going to see things really start to come together, especially during the second half of Friday afternoon. We've got warmth, we've got humidity, and we've got that canopy of precipitation, that boundary now starting to move across that warm, humid air, and we're going to start to see the rainfall become fairly heavy and persistent. Gale force winds is possible southwestern portions of Wales and indeed England. We could see some very gusty winds indeed. But as that boundary kind of lifts like a kind of arm up across both the UK and Ireland, we are going to see some fairly heavy, persistent, wind-driven rain. As that frontal system then clears to the north of any given area, incoming sun will start to stir up the atmosphere, and we could see some very lively thunderstorms developing to the wake of the main frontal system itself. That then clears away. We're left with more sunshine and showers, and we have got slightly fresher air getting dragged in on the backside of that boundary here. And it's really a bit of a kind of battle between Atlantic low pressure, continental high pressure. We have a southwesterly flow. We have got a possibility of seeing another surge of heat towards towards next week here. We'll need to keep a close eye on that, but it's no clear signal. There's no dominant low pressure. There's no dominant high pressure. There's nothing dominating the pattern at the moment. But with that area of high pressure over Scandinavia, over the near continent, it's kind of essentially blocking the eastward progress of areas of low pressure from the Atlantic. So it is a bit of a change in the overall setup compared to July and the first half of August, where we've seen mainly dominating low pressure. But these areas of low pressure being kept a little bit more to the west of the British Isles means that we can tap warm, humid air from the south, and that is what's going to allow the temperatures to go from slightly below average at the moment through the first half of August to potentially slightly above average by the end of the month here. Like I said before, I think August will be slightly above average, both in terms of temperature and precipitation. Now let's have a look at the ECMWF 850 temperature chart here, and you can see what's taking place. So we do have the warmer air coming up from the south, thanks to that area of low pressure kind of winding up, deepening to the west of the British Isles here, and plenty of warmth across Iberia, of course, as that secondary area of low pressure develops at the base of the trough to the west of Iberia. That is essentially what's going to allow that warmth to then get lifted up into the UK, mainly England and Wales. If you notice here, we're kind of hanging on to slightly fresher air over Scotland and parts of the west and southwest of Ireland here. We don't get bodily that really bona fide warmth into the UK. So it looks as if we're going to cap off at 27 to 28, possibly at an outside chance of a 29. So it looks as if we fail to hit 30 Celsius with this current surge. So of course, as I've said, that main band of heavy rainfall moves through. We've got slightly fresher air coming in to replace that warm, humid air. And then as we press towards the early portion of next week, notice the position of the low northwest of the British Isles. We're largely in that fresher regime. And then it's as we see this next feature here, away down to the west of Iberia here out over the Atlantic, that then winds up, makes a bit of an approach in the southwest of the UK and Ireland here, and allows that warm, humid air. Now, this is a much more pronounced push of very warm conditions up into the UK. This looks as if it's the warmest air mass, certainly based on 850 temperatures, of the entire year, possibly even counteracting June. I could be wrong with that, but I don't recall seeing 850 temperatures of 15 knocking the door of 20 Celsius over England or Wales during the course of summer 2023 here. So it's going to be interesting to see whether this materializes or not. But it's very much a case of the areas of low pressure give, then take away. We could see a repeat of that towards the second half of next week here. So we'll watch this space as we go forward. We'll have a look probably in tomorrow's video with regards to the month of September, and beyond that, hopefully tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Do appreciate your subscription. Really greatly appreciate your support, your views. Keep it right here on my channel. Lots of things to look at over the coming days, weeks, and months ahead with regards to the upcoming winter season, autumn, before that as well. We'll look at that in much more detail. Look at the Manjulian oscillation. The tropics may start to liven up a wee bit as well. We need to keep a close eye on that because that can have significant impacts on the pattern as we push towards the autumn and winter season here. There was kind of rumblings of a kind of early September cool spell, so we'll watch that space as well. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Like, share with your friends and family, and I'll see you again tomorrow with more. Bye for now.